This is my 2000 FRC Arctic White Corvette. It runs absolutely perfect. It's heads, cam, intake, full exhaust, stock clutch, and there's a problem with that. We have 108,000 miles, and although it does run fine with absolutely zero issues, I'm gonna tear this car apart. So guys, it is a couple days before New Year's Eve. Hope you guys had a Merry Christmas, all of that good stuff, having a great holiday. Hopefully get some time off from work. I got like a week off, so that's why I wanted to go ahead and tackle this project before my newborn gets here in February. So I know I'm going to have limited time once he is here, so I wanted to jump ahead and do this clutch, torque tube, master cylinder, all that good stuff while I have a little bit of free time. So that's the reason for me doing this, even though the car runs right now with zero issues. Like I said, stock clutch, heads cam for the last 4 years, zero issues. The clutch engages great. And you guys are probably like, what the hell? Why are you doing this? Like I listed for the reasons previously, I got some time now, so I want to do this, prepare it for boost in the future. I did want to boost it this winter, but I would have really hated to have boosted it and then, lose the clutch immediately. So I think going the clutch and torque tube first is the way to go in preparation of boosting it hopefully next winter. So we'll see about that. And there's some other stuff I want to take care of as well while I'm doing my winter build. So we're going to tackle all of that stuff. All right, so go ahead, grab your popcorn, hit the subscribe button, because we're going to probably make a few episodes out of this, and they're probably going to be pretty long. So like I said, hit that bell notification so you can see when I upload. I'm going to try to be consistent with this once a week at least. And, be sure to subscribe, leave a comment. But this is going to be a long series most likely. I don't think it's going to be super easy to do. I'm doing it in the garage on quick jacks on my back. And like I said, we're going to tackle some other stuff as well with the car. My engine leaks a ton of oil, and I'm kind of hoping that it's my rear main seal so that when I get the clutch out, I can change out the rear main seal as well. And hopefully that's the leak. We'll see though. Not too sure exactly where it's coming from. My luck, it's probably the upper oil pan, which is a pain to get. Now, I'll show you guys everything I got here later on, but I went ahead and got the Monster Twin Disc S-Series from Tick Performance. Chris at Tick hooked me up, helped me pick out everything because I wasn't knowledgeable about all the parts I needed. Never done this before. This is my first time doing the clutch and torque tube, so never done it on a C5, surprisingly. Anyways, Monster Twin Disc. I've heard great things about Monster. We're running Tick's slave cylinder, throwout bearing, Tick's adjustable clutch master cylinder as well, along with the remote bleeder and I think some other little parts. Don't remember exactly, but we'll unbox everything. But that's the general setup. Torque tube bushings, of course. I'm pretty sure I have the 10 mil bushings because I do have a 2000. But the only way to find out for sure is tearing the car apart, because I guess 2000 was a crossover year. So there's a chance I could have the 12 mil bigger bushings and bigger torque tube, but we simply just don't know until we tear the car apart. First things first, we're going to hop in the interior to get this started. All right, guys, we're here in the interior, and the reason we're in here is because we had to remove our shifter. So I figured it'd be easiest while the car's still on the ground to get all this stuff out. So we're going to pop off our center console. Done this a million times, but a couple 10 mil bolts and a couple of T15s, and she'll pop right out. There's those two. We'll pop this guy off, and there's two more 10 mils below it. If you're wondering what this is for my electric cutouts. If you haven't seen that video, it should be out by the time you're watching this, so go check that video out. Mine's gonna be a little trickier because I do have a ton of wiring, harnesses and stuff kind of in the way, so we'll see how tricky it is to remove my center console, but for you guys it'll be a lot easier. Get this boot up out the way. All right, now that that's out the way, we can go ahead, slide our center console back. That'll give us some more room to pull the console out. It's like our T15, and we got one up here. There's also one here in the ashtray, but I don't have that one. So yeah. Our single T15 is out, and now our console is pretty much ready to remove, besides the fact that I have all kinds of aftermarket wiring and stuff to disconnect or move out the way. So we'll see if I can do this. Go ahead, remove your cigarette lighter plug from the back of the console as well. You don't want to be tugging on that. And then our console, we'll just kind of slide it out the way because I do have all this cutout wiring and stuff. So we'll leave it over there for now, and that should be plenty of room. This is what I'm talking about as far as all my cutout wiring. Got the harness up to the switch here, and it's just routed through the console, so I can't really take it all the way out, but this is plenty of room. And yeah, just don't forget to disconnect anything from up here. So next, to remove the shifter fully, we got some 10 mils, and I believe under this is even more 10 mils. Now I'm gonna go ahead and pop off these 10 mil bolts. You got just 4 of those guys total. I'm gonna put them back here where I'll probably forget about them. And then this guy should pop up. It might be on here a little tight, but go ahead, get this guy out of the way. Probably need to remove our boot all the way too, but I'm gonna see if I don't have to. I'll show you guys this lower shifter box. All right, so now we're gonna remove the shifter from the car and remove it from the shifter linkage. So we got some 10 mil bolts here to pop this guy off, and then we also have a few T40s as well. I believe they're T40, and remove them from the bushings here. We're actually going to be replacing these two with a metal bushing from my boy at Lucky Garage. These are just rubber from the factory. Mine are completely destroyed as well, and Nick makes a replacement bushing, so be sure to check him out, pick up a set of those bushings as well, and we're going to replace those while we're in here. All right, I want to show you guys something, and for some reason, these 4 bolts holding in the shifter on my car were a 3/8. I thought there would be a 10 mil, like everything else on on GM stuff, but this is a 3/8 standard size. Kind of weird, but got those 4 out, and now your shifter should just lift out. And the only thing holding mine in is because I have the harness ran through it for my cutouts. You won't have that issue most likely, so we're gonna set that aside. Then I believe got a couple T40s, like I said, and then we'll remove that, and then we can remove our linkage. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and remove our Torx bits. They are a T40, like I had mentioned, and they're in there pretty tight, so just want to be careful to make sure your bit is in all the way and not strip things. There's nothing worse than rounding out a Torx bit. Got that one out. I think those bushings kind of just pop out of there too. We'll mess with them in a little bit. Not entirely sure I have to take these off right now, but I'm gonna do it anyways, just because, like I said, I am replacing these. There's that guy off. And then for our actual linkage, we got one more right next to the box. Ooh, probably should have removed this one first. Actually, I think you can leave those on there. We'll see. I'll mess with this. Never done it before, like I said, so I just know I have to remove those anyways to replace those bushings, but that's why I went ahead and removed them. But this removes our whole entire linkage, so I think this can actually stay bolted to our torque tube. We'll see. I'll mess with it some and update you guys. All right, so I went ahead and just removed our lower shifter box. It just pops out, like I said, with those 3 T40s. You can see in here, this is our torque tube. And then there's nothing because we got our tunnel plate in still. But that's our torque tube. And here is our lower shifter housing. And these are the bushings I was talking about. These are absolutely destroyed. These are bad. They definitely have 108,000 miles on them. So they need to be replaced, and the ones from Lucky Garage it should tighten up the shifts a lot and make the shifter feel a lot smoother. Sorry it's not focusing right now, but yeah, there's the rubber bushings that we're going to replace. Those are absolutely destroyed. So with our shifter assembly now out of the way, we can go ahead and do my favorite thing, which is getting the car up in the air on the quick jacks. Such a pain to do, but that's the next step, so we can start taking stuff apart and ripping everything out. So let's go ahead, get this thing up in the air. Real quick, also wanted to mention, guys, it's always really good practice when you're doing this stuff, taking a lot of stuff apart especially. Put the bolts back in where you took them out of if you can, like this. I put the 4 bolts back in. If not, we'll get some zip ties for some stuff and bag it as well and label it, just because we're going to be taking out a lot of bolts, and I don't want to mismatch any sizes or anything like that. So always good practice when you're taking a ton of stuff apart to label it or put it back in if possible. Well, we finally got the car up in the air. It took way longer than it should have, and it always does. The problem I was running into is I was trying to use both of the big blocks on my quick jacks that they come with, so I could get it up even higher in the air. I just couldn't get everything to line up properly doing it that way. You have to get the car way too high up in the air to get those big blocks under it. So this should be fine anyways with just the normal size blocks I typically use, and that's what the car's up in the air with right now. So I think I'm gonna fully lift this thing up all the way on the quick jacks, and then we'll take off the rear wheels, and then we'll start tearing apart our suspension. Alright, so now that we got both of our rear wheels off, we're going to go ahead, start removing the rear cradle. So what we're going to do is remove the rear calipers, drop those guys off, and probably have to remove our hard brake lines as well. We're going to drop our upper A-arm, which is just two 18mm bolts, and then remove our upper coilover, which is, I believe it's like a 13 or something with the coilover, and then our calipers, just two 15mm bolts. That's pretty much it. You also got ABS sensor and our e-brake line we'll have to remove as well, and some other sensors, and yeah, gonna go ahead and get that stuff removed. Our top caliper bolt is just spinning, so I'm gonna go ahead and get some vice grips on it. There we go, now it comes right out. All right, both of our A-arm bolts are now out. So now we can go ahead and remove our upper shock bolts. In my case, I have coilovers. I think these are the factory bolts still, and it's a size 13, so kind of hard to get to them, but we're gonna have to get this one with a wrench, and then we should be able to get the other one with a socket. Pretty tight. So we got our upper A-arm undone. Like I said, two 18mm bolts. Our coilover top mount is two 13s, and then our brake caliper is just two 15s as well. We're gonna hang this up later on the car. Most likely, I think we can do it that way and keep that out the way. Now I just unhooked our ABS sensor right here, and then right below it is our e-brake cable. I think there's like a 15mm bolt holding a little bracket together, so make sure you undo or release your e-brake, or else that thing's never gonna come off. So e-brake down, and now we can, so I'm just hitting everything. Now we can go ahead and undo that e-brake cable. All right, our e-brake bolt is out. It's this guy right here. It's a 15. I just wanted to show you where it's at, right between the axle and your ABS sensor. It's right below it. Well guys, that's one side knocked out. I'm gonna go ahead and repeat the exact same process on the passenger side, and then I'll show you guys once that is all torn apart as well. All right guys, so I went ahead and disconnected the headers from our heads, and I didn't take them all the way out yet, but I just left them pretty loose. I've read you have to remove them fully, or at least get them out of the way as much as you can to get the bell housing bolts. So if we have to remove them, I'll take them out all the way, but I just went ahead and unbolted them for now. You can see they're still connected on both sides, but that's pretty much all done. I got the other side, passenger side, torn apart, and I've been reading you can either remove your hard brake lines and then you have to bleed all the brakes and stuff, which isn't a big deal. I kind of don't feel like doing that though, because I just bled all 4 corners recently, and yeah, I read you can either do that or just pop out the axles, and that should give you enough clearance to get past the brake lines once you drop the rear diff. And I don't know why I'm out of breath. I feel like I'm always out of breath. But yeah, so I might try popping the axles out. I feel like that'd be easier. Apparently they just pop right out. I've never done it before, but we'll see. So I think I'm gonna try that real quick, and then we can get to removing the rest of the exhaust under the car. Pretty much the whole exhaust has got to come out. So that's kind of gonna suck for me too, because I got my electric cutouts I have to remove as well. Just a few wires, but still just extra steps. So let's get started on that. Also, I wanted to mention real quick, I picked up these Summit fender covers. They're actually pretty cool, pretty nice piece. I think they're like 10 bucks each or something like that. I believe they're a magnetic as well, but my fenders are not, obviously, so nothing's gonna stick to them. But yeah, they're like slightly magnetic on the underside of them. So if you're working on a truck or something, they'll just stick right to the fender. Pretty cool, just wanted to throw that in there. That way we can keep my fenders nice and clean, especially because it's fresh paint. So to pop these axles out, you literally just take a pry bar or a flathead behind them and pop them out. This one looks pretty beat up, so we might be replacing this one. The boot's all messed up. This one's also harder to see. There we go. Got it popped out, and hopefully they're just as easy to put back in. I've actually never done an axle before, surprisingly. A little bit more to clear. There we go. And just like that, both axles are out, and hopefully we can drop our diff now with no issues. As you guys can see here, here's one axle out, and then the other side got it popped out as well. It just has splines that it sits in. So now we're gonna go ahead and start messing with the exhaust. Here's my cutouts I was talking about. Just installed these like a month or so ago. Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead, start taking all the exhaust out. I sprayed it with PB Blaster yesterday, all the bolts, even though it should come out easily since I just had everything out not even a month ago. So we're gonna start removing that. Then I think once I get the exhaust out, I'm gonna drain the trans fluid, because I kind of want to reseal this cover anyways. Seal it between the trans and the diff once I get everything out. But it's easier to drain the fluid with the trans in the car. That way we don't make a mess on the ground with everything out. So I think I'm gonna do that as well. Alright, I want you guys to see just how much oil this car freaking leaks, man. Oil pan is absolutely filthy. Let me grab a light real quick. Yeah, check this out. Absolutely filthy. Everything's covered in oil down here. It's leaked like this since I bought the car 5 years ago. Just never got around to fixing it. I replaced the lower pan gasket. That didn't do anything. So it's either a rear main seal or upper pan or something like that. You can see the puddle. This is literally all oil, and my car's only been in the garage for a couple of days, and that's how much it's leaked. So yeah, hopefully we can fix that while we're doing all this too. Just wanted to show you guys. But got our header flanges loose right here, And we're gonna start taking the rest of the exhaust off. Jesus. All right, guys, we got the exhaust out. It wasn't bad at all, really. Just kind of struggled a little bit to yank it free from the collectors by myself, but I probably should have done that before I removed it from the back half. Got my sweet light on. This thing's from Harbor Freight. I just picked it up. It's actually really bright. I'll be using this a lot, so stoked about that. Anyways, got the exhaust out, and you guys probably saw me struggling with my cutouts a little bit. For some reason, I had a butt connector on this one, so I couldn't just freaking undo it. I had to cut it, sadly, so I'll have to redo that wiring at some point. This one, I had those little twist caps that came with it, and so that was super easy. I'll get all that cleaned up once everything goes back together. I just got the harness tucked out of the way for now in the torque tube area. Yeah, this is my exhaust. Like I said, Speed Engineering X-Pipe, 3-inch, back to the 2.5-inch. Then we got our cutouts that you guys saw in a previous video, 2.5-inch as well. And this is the factory back half of the H-pipe. But yeah, exhaust is out. Now I'm going to drain our trans fluid, at least if I can. I've never done it on this car, actually. So might as well while everything's out, right? Might as well change it. I'm going to do that. Let it drain. It's New Year's Eve, so I'm going to call it quits after that. I need to get my trans jack. Let my buddy borrow it a long time ago, so I need to go pick that up sometime. And yeah, I'm not gonna drop the rear end and stuff with just jacks if I already have a trans jack. So we'll do that probably tomorrow. We'll see how much I drink, but it's New Year's Eve, so gonna wrap it up here after I drain this trans fluid. But yeah, some solid progress today. Really, I've spent 2 hours maybe doing the whole rear end and everything so far, exhaust. So not bad. That's including filming, which, guys, if you're adding filming into the equation, it takes so much longer to do all this stuff. Everything take at least 5 times as long. Just setting up the cameras and making sure my mic's working properly, all that stuff takes way longer. Getting good lighting. Yeah, or else I probably could have had the whole thing out by now. But anyways, I'm gonna quit yapping. Hope you guys have a happy new year, and I'm gonna get this trans fluid drained. All right, guys, am I dumb or something? I know that says fill plug on it, but I thought that was the drain as well. I know that's kind of dumb for me to assume that, but could have sworn that was also the drain, and it's just dribbling out. I don't know, let me watch a YouTube video real quick. Never mind, guys, I found it. I knew I've seen it before. It's covered in grime though, so I could barely see it, but it's over here on the passenger side, opposite side of the fill plug, right back here by our axle back, right up in here. So I'm gonna knock that loose and let it drain. Jeez, there we go. That actually looks to be in pretty good shape. A little dark red, but not too bad at all for never being changed as far as I'm aware. All right, guys, gonna let that drain and call it a day for now. But I'll see you guys in the next clip as I get my ratchet all covered in trans fluid like a dummy. Oh well. All right, guys, I went ahead and got our tunnel plate cover removed, all million bolts that were there. As you guys seen in the previous clips, got that off. I disconnected our headers. I just left one bolt in at the frontmost of the head for now. Just keep them dangling so I have plenty of room side by side and stuff with them. We'll see if I need to take them fully out, not sure yet. Yeah, also removed our spark plugs off camera. And I know I just put them in a couple months ago, but that's all right. Just messing with the headers, you'll easily break a plug, and I'd rather not do that. So I went ahead, took a couple minutes to remove all the spark plugs as well. And then you guys saw me pop off our alternator, remove your negative terminal, of course, from the battery. That's pretty much it at the top. So now we're gonna hop underneath and we're gonna start removing our bell housing bolts and or at least where the torque tube connects to the bell housing, we're gonna remove that. And then I think we're pretty much good to drop everything. So we'll see. I got my trans jack yesterday from my buddy. He was nice enough to drop it off for me. But yeah, I think once we get this torque tube disconnected from the bell housing, we're pretty much good to drop everything. So we'll see. So I went ahead, got our clutch line disconnected. It's right next to the headers, and you just want to use, if you have one of those fuel line disconnect tools, that should do the trick. There's other things you can use. I'm looking for it right now, but just a fuel line disconnect tool I had for the intake. I just use that on the clutch line. Comes right out, super easy. It just has a plastic tab that you got to press in on both sides pretty much. You could probably use some pliers or something if you really had to, but it's a lot easier with the headers being able to move out of the way, and it's right next to the headers. So got that disconnected, and I'm working on getting the torque tube bolts disconnected. As you guys saw, those are a 13 mil. On my car, it's a 2000. I've seen other people's videos say they use a 1/2 inch. That didn't fit my car, so I'm guessing they changed them in '01 probably with the bigger torque tube and stuff. But my bolts, 13 mil. They're pretty easy to get, honestly. Even the top two ones that are kind of tricky to see, I just use a U-joint and you can get right to them. Once you break them loose, they're super easy to take out. So there's 5 of those. Got those out. I left one in for now. And I just got my trans jack set up here in the rear. Under the cradle, you can use a normal floor jack if you don't have a trans jack. But like I said, I got this, so it should be a little easier to manage things with this. And then I'm gonna get a jack stand set up more towards the rear of the torque tube. That way we can support that once we take everything out. And right now I'm just working on getting my rear cradle bolts out. There's 4 of them, and there's one right there, 2 on each side pretty much. They are a 21 millimeter bolt, and you don't want to use an impact on these. You can strip out the threads, and the threads are in the frame, so 100% don't use an impact. Just take your time, use a ratchet, use hand tools for it, and go little by little. Go from each side, stagger it, take your time, loosening it a little bit at a time, and all should be well. So I'm gonna get those pretty much fully removed here in a second. I can't take my exhaust fully out yet either. My mufflers, they're still in the car. That's because over the axle portion, I just don't have enough room to get it out. So once I lower the diff some, I should be able to slide the mufflers out as well. So let's get moving on that. All right, guys, with our rear diff bolts, rear cradle rather, I'm pretty much just gonna leave one thread left on each nut, and then once I'm ready, we'll fully take out everything. Oh yeah, I also got our engine supported right under the oil pan, as you can see, with a jack and a couple blocks of wood. This is directly under the pan. You're gonna wanna support it because once we loosen all this, there's gonna be nothing holding the engine up besides the motor mounts, and you don't want it to tilt too far back and crack your firewall. So be sure to support your engine as well. All right, I'm about to take out our last torque tube bolt. Guess we'll see what happens. I don't think anything will happen until I loosen up the rear cradle and take everything out, but still kind of nervous. All right, bolts are out. All right, guys, I guess I'm gonna remove our cradle bolts fully and I don't know, we'll see what happens. All right, I'm gonna see if we can get our exhaust out real quick. I'm still getting hung up. I might have to wait a little bit. That's all right. There's that one. There's that one. And now the only thing holding this up is our trans jack, pretty much. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is slowly lower the trans jack and see what happens. All right, lowered it a little bit. I'm gonna just check on everything and see where we're at. All right, so far so good. You guys can see my level setup here. It's got a super long extension. Just lowering down the trans jack. Make sure all of our harnesses are out the way. This one might be clipped in still. Yeah, it looks like I got one clipped in, so I'm gonna try to get that unclipped real quick. Most of these harnesses have a like push pin, little plastic push pins that go through the subframe, so you kind of gotta ruin them to get them out, but that's all right. See if I can save this one. There we go, saved it. All right. All right, so I think we should have it low enough now to slide our torque tube out, and that's pretty much all we got to do at this point is just pretty much pull back on everything. A little scary and sketchy by yourself, but I think we'll be okay with the way I have everything set up. Like I said, you don't want to lower this rear cradle too much because you'll crack your firewall if you tilt the engine back too much. So I think the rule of thumb is you don't want to go pretty much past the tub here as far as the diff to tub ratio. So I think we're okay. We barely got it past our bolts here, and then we got our little dowel pin that lines everything up right there, so that's cool. I'm just gonna go ahead and try to slide back on everything and we'll see what happens. Whew, that was just the muffler, okay. Oh, that scared the shit out of me. I thought the whole rear end just fell. Whew, we are good. Crisis averted. That gave me a heart attack. All right, guys, I got the axles fully out the way, got our exhaust out the way finally. Got it lowered enough for me to do so. And the reason for taking the axles out is because you can just slide it right over the hard brake lines instead of disconnecting the brake lines like I was talking about earlier. So that seems to work. Brake lines are fully out of the way. Everything else should be good to go. Show you guys the other side real quick. Same here, got the axle out of the way, over the brake line. Perfect, that's exactly what we want because this brake line is routed below the axles. I'll show you guys under here. This is the torque tube. I'm making some progress of getting it slid back out. It's just a little tricky, just being by yourself and, you know, doing one thing at a time. But anyways, that's the progress so far. Gonna keep sliding it back and just wait for it to kind of fall down. Woohoo! All right, pretty much got the torque tube all the way out finally. I think now I just need to lower our rear end a little bit and then slide the torque tube out some more and keep going back and forth doing that. Whew. Alright guys, just wanted to show you everything we got going on. So I still had one plug up in here on top of the trans. Got that unplugged, got all our wiring harness out the way. Made sure all the brake lines were above the diff as well. Whew, I'm out of breath. This is hard work, man. And now we're sliding it past our rear tub here. We got it lower than that, so it's pretty much ready to come out now. There is a major wiring harness on top of the trans that runs all the way along the torque tube and stuff, and it just has like these brackets that slide in, and you just have to slide it out and put it on top of the torque tube and you'll be good. I'm gonna show you guys where the torque tube's at right now. You can see our input shaft right here. It is past the bell housing, so we're good to keep going down with it. The hard part is just getting it out enough so that you can go down and get it out. Now I'm just lowering my jack stands one at a time, putting this thing on the ground. Also put a floor jack right here under the trans itself, just to make things a little easier to balance. Since I am doing this by myself, got a block of wood too. And so I'm kind of going back and forth with lowering this, lowering our trans jack, and lowering our jack stands. Beautiful. Alright guys, it is basically ready to drag out of here. Now I just gotta figure out if I have the room to do so. Probably open up the garage door and back things out a bit, but we'll see. Anyways, it was a lot of back and forth. Definitely not easy by yourself, takes time, but just take your time and don't rush it, or else you can mess things up pretty badly. But we made sure we got everything unplugged, and now I'm gonna drag it out. Well guys, we got it fully out of the car. That was a workout, man. Definitely took a couple hours by myself, but it is possible. Like I said, guys, just take your time. Use plenty of jacks and jack stands, a little bit at a time. Make sure you're not snagging on anything. And here we are. I got it put behind the car for now. I have like a 1.5 car garage, so not a ton of room. Got no room over here. Thinking about maybe sliding it over on this side, or just honestly behind the car for now might be fine. But here's our old slave cylinder, OEM. It's original as far as I know. Looks to be in good shape. Has a little bit of play. You don't really want any play, but it's all right. We're replacing that. We're gonna rebuild the torque tube. And here's our rear cradle, rear diff, trans. You can see we definitely had some, I think there's a breather here and it kind of just leaks out vapors over time. I don't think we really had a leak or anything. And then a little bird's nest going on here. And yeah, you can see this is the axle that was ripped. It's been like this, I didn't do it. Yeah, somehow, you know, drove just fine for years, but we'll be replacing that, might as well, while it's out. Probably do the other side too. Might as well do it in pairs, right? But here it is, guys. Here's the rear cradle, torque tube, all in one assembly, pulled out by myself on the floor. Quick jacks, you get plenty of clearance if you're using quick jacks, which I think go up to 36 inches, I want to say, somewhere around there. So you can do it on jack stands and be just fine. But yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up for this one, guys. I wanted to get the whole assembly out today, and you know, I accomplished my goal. And this video is probably going to be super long, just disassembling stuff. So in the next one, we're going to pick up with rebuilding the torque tube, replacing the clutch, cleaning up all the seals and gaskets, and getting fresh fluid and stuff, and cleaning everything up. So appreciate y'all for watching. We're also going to do a Tickmaster cylinder, slave cylinder, remote bleeder, all that good stuff in the next video. So make sure you guys subscribe, stay tuned for that one. and we'll pick off with installing everything. So peace, guys. Thanks for watching.